That innocent iced latte and weekend seltzer might be asking more of your liver than you realize. Run on repeat, everyday sugars and sips can quietly push your health in the wrong direction. Stay with me for simple, food-first drinks that support real repair without hype. Before you take your next sip, let's slow down for 10 seconds and look at the quiet pattern shaping your day. In North America, the innocent cup is everywhere. The iced caramel latte on your commute, the bottomless sweet tea at lunch, the hard seltzer that sneaks into the evening because it feels lighter than beer. None of these are villains by themselves. What strains your liver is the routine, the combination of frequent sugars, alcohol, and additives that keeps your metabolic defenses busy while you're just trying to get through the week. My goal here is simple: give you choices that support your liver without turning your life upside down. Here's the promise I'm making from the start. Stay with me to the end of this journey, and you'll get a practical bonus: an easy 3-2-1 weekly protocol to organize your drinks, a quick absorption hack that helps you get more from protective compounds, and a fast label decoding checklist for U.S. grocery aisles so you don't get tricked by marketing. Keep that in mind as we begin, because one small change now will make those tools even more powerful later. Think about a normal weekday. Maybe you begin with flavored coffee creamer because the office pot tastes harsh. At lunch, the cashier offers a free refill, so why not? Mid-afternoon, energy dips and a neon sports drink feels like a life raft. At dinner, there's a social drink, and later, a kombucha that claims to be healthy, yet it quietly packs added sugar. Even natural smoothies from mall kiosks can be loaded with fruit concentrate and syrups. The pattern is subtle. Repeated sugar spikes and frequent alcohol exposures ask the liver to triage all day, most days. Over months and years, that's like running a marathon in dress shoes. Doable for a while, but far from ideal. This is not about fear, it's about precision. Dose and preparation matter as much as the ingredient. Brewed wrong, even a good idea can backfire. Steep a tea too strong for your stomach, and you might irritate it. Take a trendy herb in concentrated capsules, and you could overshoot what your system handles well. The plan here is food first, kitchen level, and mindful of quantity. If you take medications, are pregnant, or live with specific conditions, talk with a qualified professional before changing your routine. Education protects you. Guesswork doesn't. Let me offer a few quick wins you can start today. First, the water first rule. When you reach for anything sweet or alcoholic, drink a full glass of water beforehand. It's not glamorous, but it tempers pace and supports hydration, which your liver appreciates. Second, swap the dessert in a cup habit. If your go-to morning drink relies on syrupy flavors, try moving one notch simpler each week. Caramel latte to plain latte, then to classic drip coffee with a dusting of cinnamon. Third, create 2 unsweetened windows in your day, 90 minutes each, one morning, one afternoon, where you drink only water, unsweetened tea, or black coffee. Fourth, add fiber at strategic times. A tablespoon of chia soaked in water for 10 minutes becomes a gel that slows the absorption of natural sugars in fruit blends or beet juices. It doesn't make sugar disappear. It helps your body handle it with less whiplash. You might be surprised by what actually helps. For example, black coffee, yes, the regular diner kind, has been linked in research to favorable liver markers. Even decaf shows a signal suggesting that polyphenols beyond caffeine contribute. That doesn't grant permission to chug endless refills, but it reframes coffee as a potential ally when prepared simply. Paper-filtered coffee, in particular, reduces compounds that can nudge cholesterol upward, which is a helpful side note for metabolic health. This is the sort of nuance we'll use repeatedly. Keep the helpful parts. Trim what doesn't serve you. Another overlooked upgrade is cold-brewed green tea. When steeped in cold water for several hours, it extracts gentle catechins with less bitterness and zero need for syrup. Drop in a lemon slice for brightness and a squeeze of juice right before serving to keep the flavor crisp. In regions where sweet tea is a cultural staple, this version respects tradition while cutting the sugar load dramatically. You're not abandoning comfort, you're redesigning it. Let's talk grocery habits for a moment. In the US, look for unsweetened on cartons of cold brew coffee and iced tea. Scan ingredient lists for high fructose corn syrup, and juice concentrate. Remember, if added sugars or concentrate are among the first ingredients, that product isn't doing your liver any favors. Kombucha can be a friend or foe. Some brands keep sugars low, others taste like soda in disguise. Aim for 4 grams of sugar or less per 100 milliliters and keep portions reasonable. When in doubt, choose sparkling water with a twist of citrus. Alcohol deserves a calm, honest word. Light doesn't mean harmless, and clean labels don't erase dose. If you drink, pace matters. A simple ritual, alternating each alcoholic beverage with a glass of water and a salty snack like olives or nuts, slows your intake and supports a steadier response. Set a personal limit for days per week, not just drinks per sitting. This isn't moralizing, it's physiology meeting real life. There's a quiet consequence when the routine goes unchecked. I won't dramatize it here, but across time, the body can begin storing fat in the liver more easily, and the intricate chemistry that keeps you energized and resilient may stumble. The point of this series is to make the helpful path the easy path, replacing a handful of high-strain choices with beverages that protect and, over time, allow natural repair to do its job. Keep listening with curiosity. Build one habit this week, then another. And remember the promise, a 3-2-1 plan, an absorption boost you can use at home, and a label guide tailored to American shelves are coming. For now, take a breath, finish that water, and get ready for a surprising ally you already know and probably have in your kitchen. The next tip is among the most important. Ignoring it may limit your results and in some cases lead to serious side effects, so follow it carefully with an attentive, informed mindset. You've just recalibrated how to see the innocent cup, and that shift alone can change your week. Now take a closer look at a familiar friend that earns its place not by hype, but by how you prepare and dose it. I'm talking about plain, paper-filtered coffee, one of the simplest daily choices that can support your liver when it's used thoughtfully. Here's the surprising part first. It's not only the caffeine that matters. Coffee is naturally rich in polyphenols and other bioactive compounds that, in observational research, align with healthier liver markers. Even decaf shows up in those patterns, which tells us we're dealing with more than a morning jolt. But we have to respect the details because the method can nudge your health in different directions. Start with the filter. A paper filter catches much of the cafestol and kawul, oily compounds that can raise LDL cholesterol for some people when coffee is unfiltered, as with French press or stovetop mocha. That doesn't mean you must abandon your beloved press, only that making paper-filtered drip your everyday default is a smart baseline. Consider the press an occasional treat rather than your mainstay if your cholesterol tends to run high. Next, look at dose and timing. For many adults, 1 to 3 cups per day of brewed coffee can be a comfortable range. If you're sensitive to caffeine, decaf or half-caf works well, especially after midday. If you're pregnant, dealing with anxiety, insomnia, reflux, palpitations, or specific medical conditions, talk with a qualified professional about what's best for you. Education is not a substitute for individualized care. And remember, coffee isn't a license to skimp on sleep or to drink more alcohol because you feel more alert. Those trades rarely end well for your liver. Now, let's brew with care. Use fresh, medium-grind beans. Heat water just off the boil, around the time small bubbles form, not a rolling boil. Aim for a ratio close to 1/16 by weight, about 20 grams of coffee to 320 grams ml of water for a small pot. Scale up as needed. Rinse the paper filter with hot water before brewing to reduce papery taste and warm the carafe. Pour in stages, keeping brew time around 3 to 4 minutes. This gentler extraction coaxes flavor while keeping bitterness in check, which means you won't need sugary add-ins to mask harsh notes. What you skip matters as much as what you pour. The drive-thru menu leans hard on sugar. A pumpkin spice latte or caramel mocha can carry dessert-level calories. If flavor is non-negotiable, try this practical ladder. Start with a plain latte, then step down to cappuccino, then to drip coffee with a splash of milk and a dusting of cinnamon. Vanilla extract, a literal drop, cacao powder or nutmeg can add warmth without loading sugar. At diners across the US, asking for black coffee and a side of milk lets you control the blend. In offices, keep a small jar of cinnamon or unsweetened cocoa at your desk. On grocery shelves, look for unsweetened cold brew and avoid creamers with corn syrup solids, vegetable oil blends, and artificial flavors marketed as elite. Pairing coffee with food is another quiet advantage. Sipping it alongside a balanced meal, think eggs with sautéed greens or oatmeal with ground flax and berries, can ease the stimulant edge and fit the drink into a steadier metabolic rhythm. If iron absorption is a concern for you, enjoy coffee a bit away from iron-rich meals or supplements. Hydration still counts. Chase each cup with water, especially if you live in dry climates or rely on air conditioning all day. Decaf deserves a fair hearing. If you love the ritual but not the buzz, high-quality decaf, ideally processed by water or ethyl acetate methods, lets you participate in the protective pattern without crowding your sleep. Many U.S. cafes can brew a fresh decaf pour-over on request. It just takes a moment. At home, choose decaf beans from roasters that state their process and roast date and store them in a cool, dark place. There are edge cases worth noting, and they don't require drama, just attention. If you experience reflux, choose a medium roast and avoid very strong or very acidic brews. Small, frequent sips may sit better than large mugs. If your heart races, consider half-calf in the morning only. If your cholesterol is elevated, keep French press and espresso concentrated shots as occasional experiences rather than daily standards. None of these adjustments mean you're doing coffee wrong. They mean you're brewing it for your body, not for a trend. Let's turn this into a real-world routine you can sustain. In the morning, drink a glass of water first. Brew a paper-filtered cup using the 1:16 ratio. Taste it before you add anything. If it's too intense, increase water slightly or use a coarser grind. If you enjoy milk, use a small splash and keep sugar out of the picture for 2 weeks while your palate resets. Midday, if you want another cup, consider decaf. Keep a cutoff time so your sleep protects your metabolism. Good sleep is liver care. On weekends, give yourself one intentional coffee date and skip the mindless refills. Presence often replaces excess. A final, empowering reminder: coffee is a tool, not a cure-all. It can contribute to a pattern that respects your liver, especially when brewed through paper, kept to a reasonable dose, and paired with unsweetened habits. Combined with water-first, fiber-smart strategies, and a calmer approach to alcohol, you're stacking the deck in your favor without giving up the flavors you love. Hold on to that momentum. The next tip is among the most important. Ignoring it may limit your results and, in some cases, lead to serious side effects, so follow it carefully with an attentive, informed mindset. If you've started replacing dessert-style coffees and sugary refills with simpler choices and a water-first habit, you've already changed the rhythm of your day. Keep that calmer pace and meet a drink that works like a steady hand: cold-brewed green tea. It's familiar, inexpensive, and, prepared the right way, naturally smooth enough that you won't feel tempted to drown it in syrup. The win here isn't a miracle. It's a method that lets you enjoy protective compounds without the bitterness that often sends people back to sweet tea. Here's the simple idea. When green tea leaves sit in cold water for hours instead of minutes in boiling water, you extract catechins more gently and with far less astringency. That means less puckering, less need for sugar, and a flavor that plays well with meals or a mid-afternoon reset. A slice of lemon brightens the cup and helps keep the taste crisp in the fridge. No fancy gear required, just a clean jar, a spoon, and a strainer. Let me walk you through it in real kitchen steps. Add 1 tablespoon of loose-leaf green tea, or 2 standard tea bags, to 500 milliliters of cold, filtered water in a glass jar. Stir, cover, and place it in the refrigerator for 8-12 hours. Overnight is perfect. In the morning, strain it into a clean bottle. Serve over ice with a squeeze of fresh lemon and, if you like, a few mint leaves. Keep the rest chilled and finish within 48 hours for best flavor. This is your unsweetened iced tea, but with none of the bitterness that usually forces sweeteners into the picture. Caffeine matters for how you feel, so choose leaves that match your day. Sencha or gunpowder will be brisker. Bancha or hojicha are gentler, with hojicha offering a toasty aroma many people love in the afternoon. If you're sensitive to caffeine or protecting your sleep, look for decaffeinated green tea bags processed by water or ethyl acetate methods. The ritual still counts. The buzz doesn't have to. A few practical guardrails keep this supportive rather than stressful. Don't steep on the counter. Refrigeration is part of the method. Don't leave the tea in the jar for days. Once strained, enjoy within 2. Resist the urge to add syrups, honey, or just a splash of sweet tea. The point is to unwind from that repeated sugar pull you've been navigating for years. If you crave a soft sweetness, float a thin slice of orange peel or muddle a couple of mint leaves. Fragrance tricks your brain toward satisfaction without adding sugar. If your stomach is sensitive, sip with food. A handful of nuts, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, or yogurt with berries can soften the edges and fit this drink into a steadier blood sugar pattern. If iron absorption is a personal concern, enjoy your tea between meals rather than alongside iron-rich foods or supplements. Hydration still matters. Alternate your tea with plain water so the day doesn't become one long parade of flavored drinks. Grocery aisles in North America offer plenty of shortcuts, some better than others. Bottled, unsweetened iced tea can be a time saver when you're on the road. Check that tea is the first ingredient, not water-sugar tea. Aim for products with 0g added sugar per serving, and skip those that rely on artificial flavors to cover a weak brew. If you're in a drive-thru, ask for unsweetened iced tea with a lemon wedge and a cup of ice on the side. Diluting a strong pour keeps it refreshing and slows you down. There's an easy flavor ladder if you're transitioning from Southern-style sweet tea. Week 1, half unsweetened tea, half plain sparkling water with a lemon squeeze. Week 2, 2/3 unsweetened tea, 1/3 sparkling water. By week 3, most people find pure unsweetened tea bright enough, especially with ice and citrus. This approach respects taste buds that have been living on high sugar notes for a long time. We're not judging your palate, we're retraining it. A brief word on powders and supplements. Matcha is powdered tea leaf, so you consume the whole leaf rather than a water extract. It's delicious and potent, but packs more caffeine and can feel intense if you're sensitive. Start small if you use it. 1 dayu 8 to 1/4 teaspoon whisked into cold water with ice, and keep it away from late afternoons. Capsule concentrates of green tea extract are a different category entirely. They aren't food and can be too much for some people. We're focusing on gentle, food-level preparations here. Pairing this drink with everyday American habits is easier than it sounds. Fill a reusable bottle in the morning and keep it in your bag for commutes and school runs. At backyard barbecues, bring a jug of cold brew green tea with lemon slices and mint. People reach for what's in front of them. In the office, set a friendly challenge. 2 unsweetened windows during the day when your only options are water, black coffee, or this tea. Ask your favorite cafe if they'll cold brew a small batch for you. Many are happy to accommodate when they see regulars committed to simpler, healthier orders. What does all this add up to? You're building a beverage routine that asks less of your liver while still giving you pleasure and a sense of ritual. Smooth, unsweetened, and easy to batch, cold brewed green tea becomes a reliable default that replaces sugar-dense habits without scolding you into submission. That's the heart of sustainable change, small choices you actually like repeating. As always, consider your personal context. If you're pregnant, have reflux, take certain medications, or have any medical condition, seek advice from a qualified professional before making changes. This is education for everyday use, not a diagnosis or treatment plan. Your goal is comfort, consistency, and a calmer metabolic day. Hold on to that bottle you made today and notice how your energy feels after a week of swapping one sugary drink for this. Small shifts accumulate quickly when the routine is easy. And remember, the next tip is among the most important. Ignoring it may limit your results and, in some cases, lead to serious side effects, so follow it carefully with an attentive, informed mindset. You've now experienced how a simple shift in preparation can turn a familiar drink into an everyday ally. Keep that same spirit of practical refinement and let color guide you. When a glass glows deep magenta, it's telling you something about what's inside. Pigments called betacyanins and naturally occurring nitrates that, in thoughtful amounts and timing, can support circulation and the steady chemistry your liver prefers. We're not chasing a cleanse or a miracle. We're building a tonic you can actually enjoy, with smart guardrails that respect your body's pace. Start with the core, beet and lemon. Beet brings that earthy sweetness and those vivid compounds. Lemon adds brightness, a refreshing edge, and a nudge toward balance when you're drinking this alongside real meals. If you stop at beet juice alone, the sugar load can feel abrupt, even though it's natural. That's why we dilute and pair it with fiber. The small adjustment turns a bold, beautiful idea into something your metabolism recognizes as a friendly guest rather than a surprise party. Here's the kitchen version you can repeat without thinking. Pour 150 milliliters of plain beet juice, no added sugar, into a glass. Add 150 milliliters of cold water. Squeeze in the juice of half a fresh lemon. Stir with ice. Now, the key move. Stir in 1 tablespoon of chia seeds that have soaked in water for at least 10 minutes until they form a soft gel. If you're out of chia, a tablespoon of ground flax stirred in just before drinking adds similar fiber, though it won't gel in the same way. Optional flourishes. A paper-thin slice of ginger, a sprig of mint, or a pinch of sea salt if you've been sweating heavily during a summer run. Taste for balance. The goal isn't dessert, it's refreshing and supportive. If the earthiness feels strong, add a few squeezes more lemon or 50 milliliters extra water. If you still want sweetness, park the urge for a week and allow your palate to reset. Most people find the flavor naturally grows on them after 2 or 3 tries. Serve it cold and sip, rather than chug, so your system has time to greet what's arriving. There are a few U.S. grocery nuances to make this easier. Look for refrigerated, no sugar added, and not from concentrate beet juice when possible. High-pressure processed, HPP bottles keep taste fresh without relying on heat. Shelf-stable beet juices exist and can be fine in a pinch. Just scan for added sugars or fruit concentrates creeping into the ingredient list. Canned beets are not ideal for juicing due to the brine, but if that's what you have, rinse well and blend with cold water, then strain through a fine sieve. Farmers markets in many states sell small, sweet beets. Roasting a batch on the weekend and blending one with cold water and lemon is an easy path when bottled juice isn't around. Fiber is the quiet hero. The gel from soaked chia slows how quickly natural sugars enter circulation, which can make the same ingredients feel completely different in your body. This isn't a loophole that lets you drink endless glasses. It's a comfort setting that keeps things steady. If you've ever felt a sudden rush and crash after fruit-heavy smoothies, that gel is often the missing piece. Think of it as a seatbelt for sweetness. Timing and dose make the difference between helpful and heavy-handed. 2 to 3 small servings per week, around 300 milliliters at a time after dilution, fits comfortably for many adults. If you exercise, a glass 60-90 minutes beforehand can feel pleasant. If you prefer it with meals, pair it with protein and greens for a grounded, savory balance. Keep an eye on your own responses, and remember, more is not better here. Colorful and moderate beats intense and daily. A few non-dramatic cautions help you use this wisely. Beet can tint urine and stools pink. That's called beeturia, and while startling if you're not expecting it, usually isn't dangerous. Beets are relatively high in oxalates, which may matter for people with certain types of kidney stones. Check with a qualified professional if that's you. If you have diabetes or are watching blood sugar, keep portions small, use the fiber step, and monitor how you feel. If you take blood pressure medications, start with a small serving and get a sense of your body's response. Unpasteurized juices may not be appropriate during pregnancy or for people with immune concerns. Choose pasteurized or prepare at home with clean equipment. Common mistakes are easy to avoid once you see them. Don't turn this into a cocktail mixer. Alcohol and high sugar add-ins work against everything we're trying to protect. Don't buy superfood blends that sneak in syrups. Check grams of sugar per 100 milliliters to keep yourself honest. Don't store a mixed tonic for days. Vitamin-rich drinks taste best within 24-48 hours. And don't assume ginger, cayenne, or vinegar make it healthier if your stomach doesn't love them. Comfort and consistency beat spice for the sake of spice. You can weave this into American routines without ceremony. Keep a small jar of pre-soaked chia in the fridge like a condiment. Mix a glass while you're prepping dinner instead of reaching for soda. Pack a chilled bottle for road trips where convenience stores tempt you with neon choices. Host a backyard get-together with a pitcher of beet lemon tonic on ice and a bowl of orange wedges. People love drinks that look like a celebration and taste clean. Anchor this practice in the same principles you've been building. Hydration first, unsweetened baselines, fiber as a friend, alcohol as an occasional guest rather than a daily habit. Education comes before intensity here. If you have medical conditions or take medications, let your clinician know what you're adding. Food and routine are part of your health story, and collaboration keeps that story safe. Sip the last inch of your glass and notice how your body responds over the next hour. Clearer head, steady energy, no crash. That's the feeling we're aiming for. Drinks that support your day rather than dominate it. Keep the recipe taped to your fridge. Keep the ingredients simple, and keep your attention on how you feel, not on perfection. To close, a calm reminder. The next tip is among the most important. Ignoring it may limit your results and, in some cases, lead to serious side effects, so follow it carefully with an attentive, informed mindset. You just learned how color, dilution, and fiber turn a bold idea into something your body welcomes. Keep that same precision and zoom into a smaller pour that behaves like a key. A warm, concentrated sip built from everyday spices. It's simple on paper: turmeric, ginger, a pinch of black pepper, and a touch of healthy fat. But the way these parts fit together matters. The goal isn't heat for the sake of bravado. It's comfort, consistency, and a better chance that useful compounds don't just meet your tongue and leave. Begin with the feeling, not the chemistry. Picture a late afternoon when you want a reset but not another caffeinated drink. This is where a small, savory warm shot slides in. The flavor is golden and slightly earthy with a ginger lift, more a hug than a dare. In real kitchens across North America, you'll find these ingredients in standard spice racks and produce drawers. No specialty store required. The practical recipe starts with gentle proportions. Stir 1/2 teaspoon of ground turmeric into 60-80 milliliters of warm water. Warm means comfortable to sip, not boiling. Grate 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ginger directly into the cup. Add a tiny pinch of freshly ground black pepper and 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil or coconut MCT oil. Mix well until the surface looks glossy, then sip slowly. 2 or 3 days per week is a comfortable cadence for many adults. Up to 4 is reasonable for most, especially when the rest of your drink routine is quiet and unsweetened. If the taste feels strong at first, stretch the water to 100 milliliters and let your palate learn the pattern over a week. Why the pepper and the fat? Some plant compounds are easier to absorb when they travel with a little oil, and black pepper contains its own molecule that can influence how other compounds move through the body. We're not forcing intensity here. We're giving your system a better shot at noticing what you've chosen to drink. Think of it like switching on a reading lamp instead of straining your eyes in the dark. A few small touches make this kinder. Whisk the shot with a milk frother if you own one. The texture softens and the spices stay suspended. If you're dairy-free but love a rounded mouthfeel, 1-2 tablespoons of unsweetened almond or oat milk can make the sip feel cozy without pulling you toward sugar. A fine microplane grater helps ginger dissolve into the drink rather than lurking as fibrous strands. Dose and timing shape the experience. Many people enjoy this in the early afternoon or early evening, away from an empty stomach. Pair it with a handful of nuts, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado, or a small bowl of plain yogurt if dairy works for you. The savory profile steers you away from dessert cravings, which indirectly supports your liver by curbing the reflex to reach for sweet fixes. If you're preparing dinner and tempted to nibble, this shot turns that fidget into a ritual. There are honest guardrails we should state plainly. Spices are food, not miracle pills. More is not better. If you have a history of gallstones, reflux, gastritis, bleeding disorders, or you take anticoagulant or antiplatelet medications, keep portions small and talk with a clinician who knows your history. If you're pregnant or nursing, check in before adding concentrated spice preparations to your routine. Comfort is the North Star. If something burns, cramps, or unsettles, reduce the dose, change the timing, or pause. Let's talk quality without snobbery. Choose turmeric from a brand that lists origin and harvest year when possible, and store it in a cool, dark place with the lid tight. Fresh ginger should feel heavy for its size and look taut, not wrinkled. Grind pepper fresh. Pre-ground pepper loses aroma quickly and may contain fillers. If you love shortcuts, a refrigerated ginger paste can work, but read the label and skip versions with added sugar or seed oils. You'll see capsules and tinctures marketed with big promises. That's a different category from what we're doing here. Concentrates act more like supplements and can crowd the dose past what your stomach likes. We're choosing a food-level approach that fits into the rhythm of a normal week. If you and your clinician later decide a supplement makes sense, treat it as its own decision rather than a natural extension of this kitchen recipe. American routines give this tiny drink a home. In an office, keep a jar of turmeric, a small pepper grinder, and a travel-sized olive oil at your desk alongside a spoon and mug. On the road, a thermos of warm water is your best friend. Measure spices into a small container before leaving home. At a diner, if you don't have your mix, order hot water with lemon and add a ginger tea bag, no sugar, and a dash of black pepper if they have it. The flavor echoes the home version and keeps your habits aligned until you're back in your kitchen. Most slip-ups come from chasing extremes. Don't stack multiple shots in one day. Don't add honey for health and slide back into a sugar loop. Don't turn this into a challenge drink with cayenne and vinegar if your stomach protests. A calmer approach keeps you consistent, and consistency, spread across weeks and months, is where your liver feels the difference. What does success look like here? A small, steady ritual that fits into your routine without stealing attention. Your coffee is simpler, your tea is unsweetened and smooth, your beet lemon tonic rides with fiber, and now this golden sip acts like a bridge between meals, a warm nudge away from cravings, and a chance for beneficial compounds to be noticed. Close your eyes for a second while you sip and notice whether your breathing deepens and your shoulders drop. That little exhale is the opposite of a sugar rush. It's a sign you're choosing calm over chaos in the way you drink. Keep that sensation as your compass. The next tip is among the most important. Ignoring it may limit your results and, in some cases, lead to serious side effects, so follow it carefully with an attentive, informed mindset. All the small wins you've stacked. Simpler coffee, smooth, unsweetened tea, a beet lemon tonic with a fiber seatbelt, and a warm golden shot. Set the stage for a daily anchor. This is the piece that pulls the thread through. A smoothie designed to respect your liver by prioritizing steady energy, gentle digestion, and real-world ease. No powders required, no extreme flavors, and no promise that a blender can erase a complicated life. What you'll feel is quieter than a headline and stronger than a fad. Calm, repeatable nourishment that leaves room for joy. Begin with the base that carries more than creaminess. Kefir or plain yogurt. Fermented dairy brings living cultures that support a healthy gut environment, and your liver often benefits when your digestion runs smoothly. If dairy isn't your friend, choose an unsweetened plant-based yogurt with live cultures. The goal is tangy, not sweet, with a label you can read at a glance. Build the foundation in your blender jar. Add 1 cup of kefir, or plain yogurt loosened with a splash of water. Add 1/2 cup of frozen berries, blueberries, or a mix commonly sold in U.S. grocery freezers. Tip in 1 tablespoon of old-fashioned rolled oats and 1 tablespoon of flaxseed that you've just ground. Add a pinch of cinnamon if you like warmth, and pour in cold water to reach your preferred texture. Blend until the color is deep and the flax disappears. Taste. It should be tart fresh, lightly creamy, and naturally sweet from fruit alone. If it feels too tangy, don't rush to add sweeteners. Give your palate a few days to adapt while you tweak texture with a bit more water. Those measurements aren't random. Berries bring polyphenols with minimal sugar. Oats supply soluble fiber that helps with satiety and smooths your morning. Freshly ground flaxseed adds omega-3s and additional fiber. Grinding right before blending prevents the oils from going stale. Cinnamon offers aroma that reads as sweetness without adding sugar. Water keeps the drink light so it supports your day rather than replacing a meal unless you plan for it to do so. There's room for personal taste without losing the plot. If you want more creaminess, add a quarter of a ripe avocado or a small spoon of natural peanut butter. If you prefer extra tartness, squeeze in a little lemon. If you need a protein lift because this is doubling as breakfast, add a spoon of plain Skyr or a scoop of unsweetened whey or pea protein that lists just 1 or 2 ingredients. No gums, added sugars, or natural flavors that read like a perfume catalog. Keep the spirit simple. Whole foods first, sugar last. A few practical notes keep this safe and sustainable. Rinse and dry your blender promptly. Trapped residues invite off flavors. If you're pregnant, immunocompromised, or using fermented products for the first time, choose pasteurized options and increase slowly, watching how you feel. If you're on medications or living with specific conditions, diabetes, lipid disorders, kidney disease, talk with a clinician who knows your story. This is education and structure, not a prescription. Now, the quiet consequence we've hinted at deserves clarity. When sweet drinks and frequent alcohol exposures dominate your week, your body can begin storing fat in the liver more readily. Over time, that can disrupt how energy and fats are processed. The encouraging part is that everyday choices, more fiber, less added sugar, calmer pacing, a friendlier gut environment, pull in the opposite direction. You don't need perfection. You need a repeatable pattern where protective choices outnumber the ones that ask too much of you. Let's build that pattern with the promised bonus, so you leave with a plan you can post on the fridge. Think of this as a gentle scaffold for your week rather than a rigid program. First, the 3-2-1 rhythm. Choose 3 days with paper-filtered coffee in the 1-3 cup range, prepared simply and enjoyed without syrups. Schedule 2 500 milliliter servings of cold-brewed green tea, ideally on days when you tend to reach for sweet tea. Include 1 golden spice shot on alternating days, up to 4 times in a week, paired with a small snack to keep your stomach comfortable. The beet lemon tonic with fiber fits anywhere you like, 2 or 3 times per week, especially when you're transitioning off soda or juice at dinner. Second, the absorption boost that makes food work smarter together. Enjoy your polyphenol-rich drinks, like coffee or green tea, alongside meals that contain healthy fats. Avocado toast with olive oil, a salad with salmon, or a bowl of Greek yogurt with ground flax. Certain compounds are more available in the presence of fat, and your taste buds will tell you the combination makes sense even before a study does. Third, the label guide customized for U.S. shelves. On bottled tea and cold brew, look for unsweetened and check that tea or coffee leads the ingredient list. On kombucha, a practical target is 4 grams of sugar or less per 100 milliliters and modest portion sizes. Avoid creamers listing corn syrup solids, vegetable oil blends, and natural flavors at the top. On smoothies and juices, scan for from concentrate, fruit puree, and added sugars in the first 3 lines. If you see them, that's your cue to put the bottle back. Your default backup when choices look muddy. Plain sparkling water with a wedge of lemon or lime. Make this real by choosing anchors in your daily calendar. Morning, water first, then the smoothie as breakfast or a mid-morning bridge. Midday, a glass of water before any other drink. Afternoon, cold brew green tea over ice in a reusable bottle at your desk or in the car. Early evening, if you drink alcohol, set an intentional limit beforehand and alternate each serving with water and a small snack. Night. Close the kitchen early enough for sleep to do its quiet repair work, one of the most underrated gifts you can give your liver. End with a reminder that belongs on a sticky note. Small choices compound. A week of calmer drinks resets your palate. A month reshapes your cravings. A season changes your routine. When you realize you're traveling with a prepped bottle instead of hunting for a soda machine, that's real progress. Share this with someone who wants sustainable change but hates lectures. Offer to batch cold brew tea for a coworker. Make the smoothie for a teenager who thinks breakfast means energy drinks. Let your kitchen be the easy path. I'm cheering for your quiet wins because they add up to the kind of health you feel in the morning before any screen tells you how you slept. If this helped, pass it on. Share it, like it, subscribe, so you don't lose track of the recipes and reminders that make change stick. Ask questions in the comments and tell me what worked in your house. Good ideas spread when we talk about them.